Hi, Carmen.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
How's everything been for you this last week?
Not bad. Um, it's finals week, so I'm a little bit, well, I'm less stressed than I was actually because I took my last final yesterday. Um, so the year winded down. Now I'm just, preparing for the summer.
Okay. So I just want to make sure I'm understanding correctly. So you finished school? Your school year's done as of yesterday?
As of yesterday,
Oh,
yes, I
great.
took my last exam.
That's
Um,
amazing.
There is a like end of summer breakfast that the school is going to have, but I'm not sure if I'm going to go to that. But
Okay.
school itself is done, yes.
So there's no academic obligations to the breakfast. It's just a congratulatory good job. You're moving on to the next year.
Yep, right.
Okay. And you mentioned you might not think you'll go. Is there a reason?
I'm not sure. I actually think that my brother's soccer game is happening that same day because
Oh.
it's not during a school day or a weekday. It's on the weekend.
Oh,
So I think I actually have to go to that. But
okay. Is there a part of you that wishes you could go to the breakfast and go to your brother's game? Is that a possibility?
yeah, I would like to, but it's okay. I'm not, upset that I can't.
Okay. Do you think that that's a conversation that you could have with mom and dad? Is just putting it on the table that you have the breakfast, but you know you have your brother's soccer game to go to, and then maybe letting them know you're interested in attending something
Yeah, I
new?
probably could. That's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, the reason that I want to bring this up, and it ties a little bit even into what we did last week when I asked you some of those tough questions about some of your experiences.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I think this message that I'm giving also ties in well to what we're going to talk about today is making sure that you're doing things for you.
Okay.
Right. So today we're going to learn about like some coping skills. Have you learned about coping skills or coping mechanisms before?
A couple
Okay.
in school, but they don't really get into much detail on it.
Okay. Yeah, so as long as you're open to it, I'd really like to practice one that I think could be really effective for you today.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, great. So the reason that I find coping skills important and really specifically want to work on them here with you is, again, just to jump back to last week's assessment, we talked through some experiences that were pretty tough for you and things that you've seen and witnessed that have impacted now how you're thinking and how you're feeling.
Hmm.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, I gathered all of that from our previous conversations, and that's also, from the assessment as well. There were some questions on there, in that later half specifically that is especially helpful to me as a therapist, where I learned that some of your experiences have now related to how you think about things or how you process things, as well as general, feelings about life.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
what's important for us to know as humans is that we cannot control our surroundings and we really cannot control other people. Uh,
Hmm.
So some of those experiences that you've already had, some that you've witnessed in your house, unfortunately, those are not things that we can control. And
Right.
when we can't control things, we often overthink about them, which then leads to feelings of anxiety or negative thought patterns, which then lead to those maybe happening more often when we haven't learned how to cope with them in the moment.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, so that's why I was hoping to focus today's session on coping skills and one technique specifically, which is called well, it is an emotional freedom technique,
Okay.
and it's called tapping. Have you ever heard of it?
No, actually, I haven't.
No. Sometimes I don't know if you like movies at all, but if you ever watch any movies that have to do with like a psychological thriller or something like that, sometimes you'll see it being used as a technique and it can look like this.
Mm. Okay.
But there's there's reasons that we do these things, and there's like a 5-step process that we're going to go through
Mhm.
and practice it together. So hopefully it's something that you'd be able to use on your own time, as well
Okay.
as in session in the future too.
Awesome.
Okay,
Thanks.
you're
Yep.
welcome. You're okay with this? Would you like to get started?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. So like I said, it's an emotional freedom technique. It's a self-help method that involves tapping on specific points, and while we're focusing on an emotion or an issue.
Hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to read through what the 5 steps are, and then just so that you know what it looks like and you know what the steps are, and then we'll get
Okay.
started at number one, and I'll kind of narrate it and we'll work through it together, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure. Thank you.
You're welcome. So the first step is that we're going to identify an issue or a fear or an emotion. I just want to put this in your mind. I heard you say stressed earlier. You said you were stressed about an exam. So
Hmm.
maybe that's one that we want to practice.
Okay.
Um, and then we're going to rate that in as far as the intensity on a scale of 0 to 10. And then we're going to set up a phrase that we're going to continue to say while we're doing these tapping motions. And that phrase is going to look like acknowledging a feeling, or, maybe if we're using stressed, acknowledging that we're feeling stressed, and
Hmm.
then reminding ourselves that we accept and love who we are.
Okay.
And then we will do the tapping sequence around, and then we'll do that for a period of time, and then we will rate. We'll go back to that scale of 0 to 10 and rate and see if it was different at all, to see if this was beneficial for you.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So to talk about ways or the areas that we can tap throughout this, it's going to be top. Let's focus on these: top of the head, eyebrows,
Hmm.
side of your eye, and your palm.
Okay.
Okay. So
Hmm.
top of the head, eyebrows, side of the eye, and the palm. Okay.
Yep.
The other ones are also under the eye. You can do under your nose, chin, your collarbone, even closer to the armpit or under your arm. But like I said, let's just focus on a few for right now. So top
Okay.
of the head, eyebrow, side of the eye, and palm. Okay.
Hmm.
So let's work on identifying an issue, fear, or emotion. Is there one that you are feeling today?
Right now I would say I am less stressed, but I find myself feeling a little bit anxious now about, the upcoming school year.
Sure. Okay, so if I say out loud, does this resonate with you, even though I feel anxious?
Hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So on a scale of 0 to 10, could you rate your anxiety that you're feeling right now?
Probably about a 5, maybe a
Okay.
6.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna start our acknowledgement of: even though I feel anxious, I
Hmm.
deeply accept and love myself.
Okay.
So I'll say it again.
Okay.
Even though I feel anxious, I deeply accept and love myself.
Okay. Even
Okay.
though I feel anxious, I deeply love and accept myself.
Exactly. Yep. So now we're gonna start the tapping, okay?
Hmm.
And then we're gonna say that phrase 3 times for each tap area. So remember, we have tap area on
Okay.
top of our head, eyebrow, side, and palm.
Okay.
Okay. So
And
we'll,
am I saying it out loud or in my mind?
however you'd like to, I'm gonna say it out loud, but if you
Okay.
would prefer to say it, just think it and not say it out loud, that's okay.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna choose to say it out loud.
Okay, I'll say it out loud.
Okay. Ready?
Hmm.
Okay. Even though
Even
I
though
feel anxious, I deeply
I
love and
feel
accept
accept
myself.
myself,
Even though I
I
feel
feel
anxious, I deeply love and accept
accept
myself.
myself.
Even
Even
though
though
I
I
feel
feel
anxious,
anxious, I deeply love
love
and
and
accept
accept myself.
myself.
All right, now we'll move to the eyebrow.
Hmm.
Even though I
Even
feel
though I
anxious, I deeply
feel
love and accept
accept
myself.
myself.
Even though
So
I feel anxious, I
I
deeply
feel
love and accept myself.
myself.
Even though
Even though
I feel
I think
anxious, I
I
deeply
deeply
love
love
and
and
accept
accept
myself.
myself.
Okay, we'll move to that side portion now. Even though I feel anxious, I deeply love and accept myself.
Even
Even though
though
I feel anxious, I deeply love
I love
and
and
accept
accept
myself.
myself.
Even
Even
though
though
I feel anxious, I
I
deeply love
deeply love
and
and
accept
accept
myself.
myself.
And now we'll do our last area on the palm. Even though I feel anxious, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I feel anxious, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I feel anxious, I deeply love and
And
accept myself. This is going to be our last one. Even though I feel anxious, I deeply love and accept myself. Okay. And now we'll go back to revisiting that rate, that scale of intensity. You
Mhm.
started at around a 5. How are you feeling now?
I would say maybe like a 7 or 7.5.
So that made you feel more anxious?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. So 10 is more anxious then?
Yes.
Okay, so I would say about a 3
I'm
or two
sorry.
and a half.
I'm sorry I didn't clarify that.
That's okay. That's okay. You probably did.
Nope, I'm not sure if I did. So thank you for answering honestly so that we were able to get on the same page here.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, the scale would be 0 being the least anxious and 10 would be more. We started
Mhm.
around a 5 and now you are feeling a bit less anxious at a 3 after that activity.
Yeah, I think it actually made me not think of anything
Sure.
other than what we were working on. So it definitely helped.
Yeah. And this is one I personally like to use as well because very similarly, it keeps you focused on um, repeating something.
Hmm.
And I find, um, and studies show that when you repeat something that ends with that, you're acknowledging the feeling, but then you're also acknowledging that I care and I accept and I love myself, even though
Hmm.
this is how I'm feeling. That's really powerful, right?
Yeah.
That is saying I am accepting myself for where what I'm feeling, where I'm at in the present, and I
Hmm.
can work through it, right? And then you
Right.
work through it through that activity, and then the tapping also physically helps helps keep focus, and
Right.
it ends up working out well. So I'm really happy that's something that you find that you found was beneficial for you.
Hmm.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Um, be honest with me here. Do you think that that's something that if I sent you the instructions that you would try on again on your own time?
I think so, yeah.
Good.
Definitely.
Great. Great. And that's, my hope. We're going to try a lot of different techniques in therapy, and some may work and some may not work.
Hmm.
So this is one that I really wanted to try today because you've done a really great job at being able to identify a specific feeling. So that's a strength, and that's a necessity for this specific technique is because you need to identify a feeling or an issue or a fear. And throughout our sessions, that's something that I've learned that you are able to do. It's absolutely a strength. So as we continue to see each other and set up treatment plan goals, which we'll be doing in the future, that's definitely something that I think we need to hone in on is increase continuing to practice identifying emotions
Hmm.
and working on the skills to regulate.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Great, awesome. How are you feeling now as our session's wrapping up?
Really well,
Good.
actually. I appreciate it. That I think I'll definitely use that exercise.
Great, great. So I will email over to you the exercise details so you have it. Feel free to practice it at home, practice it wherever you can. You asked a really great question about do I need to say it out loud? You know that, or can you just think it? If you're in an
Mhm.
area that you don't want to say something out loud or just not the feeling the capacity to do so, but you're still tapping and thinking it, can be
Right.
effective as well.
Awesome. All
Okay.
right. Yeah, thank you.
Alrighty, great. So thanks so much for coming in today. Is there anything else on your mind?
No, I don't think so.
Alrighty, I'm looking forward to next week.
Thank you. Me too.
Of course, I'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.